Hi, my name is Vittorio Paone. I'm with Vittorio's Italian Kitchen in Revere, Massachusetts. Today we're going to be making some chicken Parmigiano. We're going to put an extra virgin olive oil in. You want to use a good olive oil. The better the olive oil, the better the flavor in the sauce. It smells great. It smells like I just crushed olives right here and made the oil with it. We're going to take our garlic, peel our garlic. What I like to do is I like to chop it up a little bit. As the oil's heating, I'm going to chop it up. Just a rough chop. You don't have to go crazy with it. Because at the end, once we get the sauce going, we're going to puree it. So there isn't a big concern for it. Take it, put it in. Hear that little sizzle? Now while we're doing that, we've got to add our basil. What I do is I add the basil right before I put the tomato in. And the reason for that is so that the basil flavors the oil. Again, a rough chop. At the end, we're going to be pureeing everything. A way to tell real briefly if the garlic's ready is that, see how it's picking up some color? You just crush it a little bit. If it's starting to get soft, it's just about ready. Okay. Okay, now, see how it's turning some color? Right now, just grab the basil, put it in there. Saute it up. You want to get a little bit of a reaction. Once it starts, you don't want it to overcook. You don't want it to burn and become crispy. All right, because then you just have dried, burnt basil in your sauce. Right now, I take the tomato. When you dump it, don't dump it into it. Kind of tip it a little bit so you don't make a mess out of it. Stir it up. Okay, now I'll turn the heat up a little bit. Okay, I'll add some salt. Salt and pepper to taste. Let's put a little seasoning in there. Some pepper. One thing to keep in mind is that you don't really want to taste the salt. What salt does is that it's a flavor enhancer. You ever taste food and it doesn't taste like anything, you add salt, that's because when the salt hits the tongue, it opens up the pores in your tongue and it makes the food taste better. Now me, I use it wrong. I just like salt, so I put salt, so, that's another story. But anyway, the right way to use it is that you keep on adding salt till you bring out the most flavor in the product, and once you start to taste it, you kind of have to stop it. Okay, now that the sauce has come up to a boil, okay, we're going to puree it since we're using whole tomatoes. Now what happens is that I take the blender here, turn it on, and I go through it, and I just puree it. You want to do this right when it reaches a boil, because if you do it after the sauce is cooked, what's happened is it's going to turn pink because it's been aerated. Okay, at this point right now, it has time to cook and cook the air out of the product, and it will still stay, a tomato red. See how that is? See how it's kind of smooth right now? That's how I want it. Set up. Put this back over. Now I'm going to turn it down to a medium heat and let it cook for about an hour. I mean, it's roughly an hour. Turn it down a little bit. But some people like it thicker, some people like it thinner. It's completely up to you. However you like it, that's the way you should do it. Well, now that we have our sauce going, which you're going to check on it for a little bit, every once in a while, right now we have to prepare our chicken. First thing we're going to do is prepare the breadcrumbs, okay? We have our breadcrumbs, dried basil, oregano, pepper, salt, and grated Parmesan cheese. Okay. Now you just want to mix it together evenly. Right now we're going to go into our chicken. A lot of times it's all chicken that's already prepared. It's already cut, it's already filleted. You might have to pound it a little bit. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to handle the chicken breast in case you don't get it that way. Okay. What you want to do, you want to eliminate the fat. Sometimes there's pieces of bone, nerve, silver skin, so on and so forth. You want to eliminate that because it's unpleasant when you bite into it. Okay? So right now, take our breast. It's a double low breast. Just kind of move the fat over and cut right where the bone would have been. Okay, put that aside. Over here now, this one has a little bit more to it. So again, we're going to start here, cut that, put that aside. And over here, see this chunk of fat and part of wing or whatever it is? We want to cut it right across, just like that. Okay, we'll look at the bottom, it looks pretty clean. Check for anything else. Prepare it. There's our chicken. Okay, once you get it cleaned, we have to pound out the chicken. Okay, what I do is I take my cutting board, piece of saran wrap, I line it up. Now basically you want to put the skin side up. Okay, you want to break the skin membrane, or else when you cook it, it's going to shrink right back up. You want to break those fibers. Okay, I also put a piece of plastic. Now you don't want to beat it up until you have like chicken hamburger. Okay, you just want to make it smooth. You want to, when you cook it, you want to make sure that it cooks evenly. So you just want to bring it to one thickness. Okay, now here's the hammer. You don't need to go out and buy one of these. A kitchen one's fine. Okay, just lightly pound it. I like them a little bit thicker, so when you cook it, I mean, don't forget you're frying it, then you have to bake it. If you cook it too much and it's too thin, it's going to be way too dry. So if you keep it thick, it'll be perfect. It'll be nice and juicy and moist, and the coating's going to have a great flavor. Now see, if you notice, I just pounded the thinner side a little bit just to break the skin membrane. But I did most of the pounding and tenderizing on the thicker part. Okay, just put this right back. Perfect. Okay, now it's time to bread the chicken. I have my oil heating. With the oil, you only want to use a soybean oil. It's something inexpensive. Some people use a 10% extra virgin olive oil. I don't think it's necessary because you're going to be having sauce and tomato and cheese and everything on it. It really doesn't make a big difference. My sauce is almost ready. Oil's almost at 325 degrees. A quick way to test it, take a little bit of breadcrumbs. If it sizzles, it's almost there. We have flour, add our salt in. Let's mix it up. We have our eggs beaten, add the milk, give that a little mix, and of course our breadcrumbs we've already done. Now you want to do the process as flour, egg mixture, and the breadcrumbs. Okay? Oops. Make sure it's well coated and it's dried. Okay? Into the egg, same thing. The process has to be complete. Okay, let out any excess milk and egg. Let it really drip out. Put in the breadcrumb. You really want to pack it down. If you can see, it's completely coated. There isn't any bare chicken. Okay, now we just kind of put it in. Okay. If it's going too fast, if you feel it's going too slow or too fast, adjust the heat. Okay? We want to bring it to a golden color. Okay? Don't move it around a whole lot. Let it sit and cook. What I look for is around the edge of the chicken, it's going to pick up a golden color. If you look at the chicken, the border of it is looking cooked. At that point, I'm going to turn it over. See how it has a nice golden color? As this gets going, as soon as I set these all up, I'm going to put on my pasta for water, okay? Because with the pasta, you want to cook it and serve it. So you want to make sure everything is completely done. You want to make sure the tomato sauce is done, the chicken's breaded, fried, has the sauce on it, cheese, and it's ready to go. Looks great. Let the extra oil come off. Down. I'm going to take a little bit of sauce. I just want to coat it. You want to make sure it's even. You want every bite to taste the same. You want to make sure every bite you take has sauce on it. You want to make sure every bite you take has cheese on it. Now again, with cheese, I use the shredded mozzarella. Some people use provolone. Some people use fontina. More Parmesan. You can kind of do whatever you like. See how it's evenly coated? Every bite's going to taste the same. Okay, now that we have the chicken breast already fried, sauced, and cheese, it's about to go into the oven at 400 degrees about 7 to 8 minutes. You want to put it in so that it gets a golden color. Some people like it a little bit darker, some people like a little lighter. I prefer the golden color. We have our water boiling, ready for the pasta, and we have our sauce all set. Okay, so now our pasta's cooked, our sauce is ready, and our chicken has been baked. Okay, what I like to do is when I drain the pasta, it cooks through water absorption, so it also absorbs sauce and cheese. So what I do is the same pot that I drained it from, I'll put a little bit of sauce, put the pasta in, and actually cook it. Take a little bit of Parmigiano, grate some in, heat it up, and actually coat the pasta. I like to put the chicken on the side and the pasta on the, I like to separate it because a lot of times you'll see it with the chicken on top of the pasta. What happens when you cut the chicken, it smushes all over the place. So I like to keep it separate. A little bit of sauce. Piece of chicken. Some fresh Parmigiano. And a leaf of basil. And it's that easy.